For centuries, the people of ancient Greece looked to the heavens and saw the hands of the gods. When lightning split the sky, it was Zeus. When the sea became violent, it was the anger of Poseidon. When crops failed, or disease spread, or victory came in battle, the answer was almost always the same. The gods had spoken. These stories gave people comfort. They explained the unknown. They connected human life to the universe around them. But over time, something extraordinary began to happen. A small number of people started asking a different kind of question. Not, which god caused this? But, what natural process caused this? It was a subtle change, yet it would transform human history forever. To understand why this happened, we must travel to the Greek cities along the coast of Asia Minor in what is now modern-day Turkey. These cities were centers of trade. Ships arrived from Egypt, Phoenicia, Babylon, and many other civilizations. With merchants came ideas. Different cultures told different stories about how the universe began. Each civilization had its own gods, its own creation myths, its own explanation of nature. This created an important question. If every civilization tells a different story, which one is true? For perhaps the first time, some people began searching for answers that did not depend on tradition alone. They wanted explanations that anyone could observe, question, and debate. This marked the birth of philosophy. The word philosophy comes from two Greek words, philo, meaning love, and Sophia, meaning wisdom. Quite literally, the love of wisdom. One of the first men to embrace this new way of thinking was Thales of Miletus. He lived nearly 26 centuries ago. To many people around him, storms, rivers, and earthquakes were acts of the gods. But Thales asked a different question. What is the universe actually made of? After observing the natural world, he concluded that water was the fundamental substance from which everything came. Today, we know he was wrong. The universe is not made entirely of water, but that is not what made Thales important. His greatness lay elsewhere. For perhaps the first time in recorded history, someone attempted to explain nature without appealing to mythology. Instead of saying, Zeus caused the storm, he searched for a natural explanation. It was the beginning of a revolution. Soon another philosopher challenged Thales himself. His name was Anaximander. He admired his teacher, but he was not afraid to disagree with him. If everything came from water, where did water come from? Instead, Anaximander proposed something far more abstract. He believed the universe originated from what he called the apeiron, the boundless, an eternal, limitless, indefinite source from which everything emerges and to which everything eventually returns. Whether he was right or wrong was almost beside the point. The important thing was that ideas could now be questioned. Even respected teachers could be challenged. Truth was no longer determined only by tradition. It could be pursued through reason. Then came Heraclitus, perhaps one of the most mysterious philosophers in history. He looked at the world and saw constant change. Rivers flowed, seasons changed, children became adults, empires rose, and eventually fell. Nothing remained exactly the same. He famously wrote, "No one ever steps into the same river twice, because by the time you step into it again, both you and the river have changed." Yet Heraclitus believed this endless change was not random. Hidden beneath it was a deeper order. He called this order the Logos, a rational principle governing the universe. For the first time, the universe itself was being described as something orderly, intelligible, and understandable through reason. Notice what these philosophers were doing. They were not trying to destroy religion, nor were they trying to prove that the gods did not exist. Instead, they were asking a new kind of question. Could nature itself follow consistent laws? Could human reason uncover those laws? If so, perhaps not every mystery required a mythological explanation. This was a revolutionary idea. It did not replace mythology overnight. For centuries, the old stories and the new philosophy existed side by side. Many philosophers still believed in the divine. Many ordinary people continued worshipping the traditional gods. But something had changed forever. The human mind had discovered a new tool. Reason. Imagine standing beneath the night sky. One person sees the stars and says, "They move because the gods guide them." Another looks upward and asks, "What laws govern their movement?" Both are looking at the same sky, but they are asking different questions. That difference changed civilization. It eventually led to mathematics, astronomy, physics, and the scientific method itself. Not because science appeared overnight, but because people first learned to ask better questions. This shift from myth to reason did something even greater. It transformed the way human beings searched for truth. Truth was no longer something that had to be accepted simply because it had always been believed. Ideas could now be examined, arguments could be tested, evidence could be discussed. Disagreement became part of learning. This spirit of inquiry would shape philosophy for thousands of years, and it still shapes our world today. Yet even these early philosophers had not answered humanity's greatest question. If the universe follows laws, where did those laws come from? If there is order, why does order exist? If everything has a cause, what is the first cause? Questions like these would inspire generations of thinkers, and among them, two names would rise above all others: Plato and Aristotle. Their ideas would influence not only philosophy, but science, politics, religion, and even the way billions of people understand God today. In the next part of this series, we will explore how these two extraordinary philosophers transformed humanity's understanding of reality itself. Because the search for God did not end with mythology. It entered the world of philosophy, and from there, it would change history forever.